John, and you go to the very next chapter. The story and the context is now Jesus in his ministry is traveling, and he's doing miracles, and one of his very close friends, ministry family and friends that he got connected to was a family of two sisters and a brother. It was Martha and Mary and Lazarus. And often in his travels and his journey, he would stay at their place in Bethany. He wasn't there. He was actually maybe a couple of 3 days walking distance away, when Lazarus turned very ill and was going to die. And they sent word to Jesus that Lazarus was sick. And so we pick up the story here. Then the disciples said to him, let me find it here. We'll start at verse 3. Therefore the sisters sent to him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick. When Jesus heard that, he said, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it. We could preach a whole message on this. I'm just trying to get the point that he is the resurrection and the life, as he declares. But I want you to know, sometimes bad things happen for a reason that's far beyond our understanding or comprehension. God's at work in it. And in this particular case, it was even sickness. Now, Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that he was sick, Lazarus was sick, he stayed, He stayed 2 more days in the place where he was. So he gets this message. Lazarus, the one you love, brother of Mary and Martha, this family that you're very dear to and connected with, he's sick. Why don't you come? He decides to stay for 2 more days. He stayed 2 more days. Then after this, he said to his disciples, let us go to Judea again. Then the disciples said to him, Rabbi, lately the Jews sought to stone you, and you are going there again? Yeah, he was kind of having some trouble. I mean, Jesus in his ministry even had trouble. Kind of brings comfort to some of us who have full-time inmate there. Yeah. All right, let's jump to verse 11. These things he said, and after he said to them, our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may wake him up. Then his disciples said, Lord, if he sleeps, will he get well? However, Jesus spoke, this is verse 13, spoke of his death, but they thought that he was speaking about taking rest in sleep. Then Jesus said to them plainly, Lazarus is dead. And I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, that you may believe. Nevertheless, let us go to him. Interesting statement. He gets a message from the family. Lazarus is sick. He purposely delays for 2 more days. And then starts the journey, which takes him another couple of days. But along the way, he tells the disciples, after trying to break it to them gently, he says just quite plainly, Lazarus is dead. But I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent that you may believe. He was going to prove a point, and he was going to reveal himself in his deity as an I am statement of who he really was in this incredible work, this incredible demonstration of power. And so he said this, I'm glad for your sake that I wasn't there to heal him. That's what he's referring to the intent that you may believe. What did they need to believe? They needed to believe that he was not just healer, but he was the one who said, I am the resurrection and the life. Amen. That he was going to bring life out of that which seemed to be dead. Never mind just bring healing to that which seemed to be sick. How many know you need a whole new level of faith? You need a whole new level of believing to believe something sick to wholeness, or from death to life. And he said this was It was about them. When God does something in us, or doesn't do something in us at the time we think he should be doing it in us, it's for us. I was glad for your sakes, he says, that I was not there. Why? So that you may believe. He wanted to take their faith to a whole new level of belief. And so he tracks with them. So they get there. And of course, they get near Bethany, and they know Jesus is coming, and Martha and Mary are running out to meet him, and so we pick up the story. Now Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would have not died. What took you so long? I had it all figured out. I go and call for you. He's sick. You come, you heal him. I've seen you heal many people before. I know you can do it. What took you so long? If you had only been here, he would have not died. If you complain like that to Jesus, if you would just show us. But even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. Well, little seed of faith still in there, isn't there? And Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha said to him, I know he will rise again in the resurrection of the last day, or at the last day. Now, before I even get to this statement, which he's going to make next, and I emphasized this last week, it's easy for us to believe in the God of the past. Right? We can look back and, oh yeah, look what he did. Look at all of his miracles. He's a miracle worker. He's amazing. Look what he did back then. Or we can tie our faith to the future. I know he's going to do something in the future. I know that in the last day he will rise again. And we see it here with Mary and with Martha. She said, Lord, if you had only been here, past tense, my son wouldn't have died. Or my brother wouldn't have died. If you'd only been here. And I know he's going to live again at the last day, in the future. She was missing the now. But God said, I am, and he put himself in the present tense. He's the I am right now. He's the God who will be what you need him to be when you need him to be it in the very moment you need him to be it in the now. He is the God of the past, but he's not relegated there. He is the God of the future, but he's not only going to work there, he's the God of the now. He's the God of the present. I am that I am. I will do what I need to do right now when you need me to do it. And he said it right in the midst of this deep, dark hour of death that surrounded Mary and Martha. Because she said, yeah, if you would have been here, it would have been done. And yes, I know he's going to rise again in the last day in the future. And then Jesus interrupts her and stops her right in her tracks and says, I am the resurrection and the life. Amen. He who believes in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And he declared himself to be the I am of the now, the resurrection and the life at that moment now. It wasn't a past thing. It wasn't going to be a future thing. It was going to be a now thing. Amen. Verse 25, Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? He said to Martha. I know you have faith for the past. If I would have shown up, yeah. And I know you have faith for the future, but do you have faith right now? Because I am the God of the now. She said, yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is to come into the world. So when she had said these things, she went her way and secretly called Mary, her sister, saying, the teacher has come and is calling for you. And as soon as she heard that, she rose quickly and came to him. Now Jesus had not yet come into the town, but was in the place where Martha met him. Then the Jews who were with her in the house and comforting her, when she saw that Mary rose up quickly and went out and followed her, she is going to the tomb to weep, they said. Then when Mary came to where Jesus was, saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying to him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would have not died. Therefore, when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her weeping, he groaned in his spirit and was troubled. And he said, where have you laid him? Then they said to him, Lord, come and see. Verse 35, the smallest verse in all of Scripture. It says this, Jesus wept. I love the fact that in the midst of declaring himself to be the resurrection and the life, and Jesus knew that he was going to raise Lazarus from the dead, by the way. Because that's why he told the disciples, I'm glad for your sake that we weren't there. Because if I was there, then all you would have saw was a healing. But now you're going to see a resurrection. But in the midst of knowing what he was going to do, he is still moved with compassion and touched with the burdens and the feelings and the griefs and the sorrows that we bear. I want you to know Jesus knows what you're going through. Wow. Jesus knows what you've been through. He's been touched with the feelings of our infirmities and our sorrows and our weaknesses and our pains. He's been there. He's done that. Of course, yet without sin. You understand? But he knows what we're feeling. And he allowed himself in the midst of this, even though he knew Lazarus was going to rise again, to experience the sorrow and the grief of what this family was sensing at this loss. And it says these words, Jesus wept. It's incredible. He got right down to our level. He gets right down to where we are and knows what we're going through, church. Amen. And even when you feel like all hope is lost, even when you feel like that thing is dead and buried and gone, you need to hear the whispering voice of Jesus speaking into the situation that says, I am the resurrection and the life. Yeah. Hallelujah. So we know what happens next. He says, where have you buried him? And so they showed him, and then Jesus, as he's weeping, the Jews respond, see how he loved him. Some of them said, could not this man who opened the eyes of the blind have kept this man from dying? Yes, he could have. Then Jesus, again groaning in himself, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay against it, and Jesus says, take away the stone. And then Martha steps up. Jesus, like, whoa, Jesus, come on, I believe you. You could have healed him. I get it. I know he's going to rise again, but Lord, he's been dead for 4 days. He's starting to decompose here. I love the old King James. He stinketh. There's a stench, for he has been dead 4 days, she said. Did I not say to you that if you would believe that you would see the glory of God? And Jesus prays a simple prayer, and then he makes this statement, Lazarus, come forth. Come out. Some suggest that if he didn't use the word Lazarus, there would have been a whole lot more people coming out of the graves. Because when he spoke the word as God, as the great I am, the resurrection and the life, if he would have said, come forth, they all would have come out. Amen. But he said, Lazarus. And then, of course, their mouths drop wide open because Lazarus, stone rolled back, comes hopping out to the mouth of the tomb. And why are you saying, why are you hopping, Pastor? He would have been wrapped in grave clothes. And so Jesus, when Lazarus came out, he said, loose him and let him go. How many know when Jesus speaks life into a situation, he not only brings you from a position of death to life, he's going to set you free. Amen. Amen. The grave clothes, the clothes that keep us bound in the old life and the old things, he wants to remove from us so that when we walk in newness of life, we walk in freedom and victory. Amen. In Jesus' name. Amen. Because he is, say it with me, I am the resurrection and the life. So yes, I believe, Lord help my unbelief, I believe that Jesus could raise someone from the dead today. Because he is the same yesterday, today, and forever.